Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and this amazing series. I'm Aditya. We are creating a chat application using MERN stack, and in this video we are going to see how to handle tokens and how to store them and how to send them and all those stuff. So without any further ado, let's begin. Okay, so before we begin, I just want to say that there is no 100% right answer, because whatever you do, there are possibly some loopholes which a very pro level attacker will get access through one way or the other. But what we need to make sure is, or what you should do is just need to make sure that whatever practices you're following, they are best practices. They are not perfect, but at least near perfect practices, and just need to make sure that you read all those stuffs before doing anything. So we will be doing using a combination of HTTP cookie and access token. So I'll tell you how to do it. And if you have any best suggestions or better suggestions, or if you have certain suggestions for me to make, please make it in the comment section. I would really like to know how you guys are doing this from your side as well. Okay, let's begin. So we have the email and password which is being sent to the server. We did that through Express API. Now what we need to do is, first thing I need to make change here. It has to be access underscore token. And the next thing I need to do here is, if you see whether it's login function or register function, we are passing a cookie which should be set on the client side as well. So we are passing this cookie in our response. Now when we pass this cookie, we are passing it as an HTTP only cookie. Okay. Now the problem with HTTP cookie only, it is secure, yes, but it cannot be read by the JavaScript. And now actually it's not a problem, it's actually a secure thing. It is to be made like that. But if you are sending a token in it, which you want to set it as an authorization token, then either you should avoid sending it as an access token in the cookie, or you should make sure that you're doing like a cookie based authentication. You don't need any authorization bearer token in the headers or something like that. It's all done automatically by sending the credentials to Axios, and let the server handle all those stuffs. Okay, because this HTTP only cookie cannot be handled by client side JavaScript. Okay, now to get access to this access token, what I'm going to do is I'll make access token as no HTTP only cookie. Same for here in the login, same over here when we are refreshing the token. However, I will keep the refresh token HTTP only. Now I'll tell you why. The access token has a lifetime of 30 seconds. So it has a low lifetime. So if it expires, the user cannot get access. So to get a new access token, the user needs to have a refresh token. Now this refresh token, you could say, is like a main thing, even though it is just giving you a new access token, but that's actually a very important thing. So this token shouldn't be sacrificed. Okay, so to make this token stored securely, we will store it in HTTP only cookie, and whenever required, let the server handle it. So server will take it when we send it from Axios. The server will take it, and we also need to make few changes over here. So instead of taking it through the body, we will take it through the headers that server sends, through the client sends, without any interaction from the user. Okay, so that being said, let's go back to our login.js component. Now here we have the login form. We also have the register form with the form component. They both are same. Now what we are doing here is we are passing a function do login as a prop to the form component. Now what is this going to do is it's going to do exactly the same thing that it did in the last video for form submit, where we passed a use state function to the form group. Then it went over here and it set the value, like the set value to the form of the function that we passed over here. So it was set name for form group for name, set email for email, password for set password for password. In the same way over here, this submitted function will take a form that we will pass over here. So it will take a form of do login currently, and it will execute the do login function by using these parameters, okay, that we are passing in it. Now let's go back to the do login function in our login.js. So here we are having the payload. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder here, which will be asset. There we will have our Axios instance creation script. Okay, so I'm going to say api.js. Okay, now why I'm doing this? This is because when we want to send the header sorry, the token and in the header, we don't want to write that thing again and again repeatedly in each component. So what we are going to do is we'll create an instance which will have the basic configuration of base URL, the tokens being set and all those stuff, and we just need to pass the correct endpoint and the correct data from each component. Okay, so let's proceed with that. So here I'm going to say import Axios from Axios. Then I'm going to create a function here, API instance. I misspelled it, sorry. And here I'm going to say it will be a function. Now this is going to be like, first we will need to so I have also installed Axios behind the scene, and I have also installed the package universal cookie that is useful for handling cookies in JavaScript. So let's also import that as well. Import cookies from universal cookies. And then what we are going to do is first we'll make a cookie instance. We'll say new cookies, and then we will get the token as const token equal to cookie dot get, and we want the access token cookie. Okay. Then we will now create the Axios instance. I'm going to say const instance. It will be Axios dot create, and this thing will take the basic configuration. So it will take the base URL key. You have to write it as it is, so you cannot keep u small or r small, something like that. And you have to pass the URL of your server. So currently our server is sitting at localhost :3000, and we'll pass a forward slash as well, so that when we make requests from the component, we don't have to put the forward slash before every URL. And then after that, we will need the headers. So our headers is authorization headers, and that will be our bearer token, something like this. So we just need to now return this instance over here, return instance, and over here we need to export this function. Okay, now let's go back to login component. Over here we will import it, API instance from assets API. Then we just need to get the instance, and then we make the post request to it. That post request will be user login, passing some data, which will be our payload, because we are getting the data as email, password, name. We just want email and password, which our server will take care of. So we just need to pass like this. Okay, this will be a promise, so we just need to resolve the promise over here. We will say then response, whatever response we get, we'll just console that response. So let's do it something like this, console.log response. And then over here we will catch the error if there are any. Okay, so we will say catch error, and then if you notice in the user controller, in the register or even in the login, actually we are sending a 403 error if the credentials are incorrect. Now to get this error message, what we need to do is we need to check in the error if there is a response. Okay, if there is a response, then alert error.response.data.errors, because our errors are stored in these errors. Okay, now you can make it like store it in a variable errors with set errors, which will be a useState function again. So you can have a useState function, have errors and set errors, and a set errors function can set the error, and you can dynamically render here with the conditional rendering the errors. Okay, so let's quickly do that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take const errors, or let's do it like this, errors, set errors, and then this is going to come from useState. It will be the React thing. It's auto imported. That's great. Initially it will be blank, and then what I'm going to do is I'll put this curly brackets like this because it's a JSX syntax, and then I'm going to say if there are errors, ampersand, double ampersand sign. So if errors, then just put a div which says you have entered incorrect credentials, or we can just display the error actually, but let's make it a bit customized like this. And then let's give it some class, so we can say class name equal to let's give it text red. We are using Tailwind, so text rate 500. Now let's see what happens. If we go back again over here, close this, not for now. If we just go here, edit@example.com, then go here, type any random password. Let's see what we get. We will get course error, which is totally fine because we haven't set the course. So if I go to console, you will see that we are getting this course error. So let's set the course as well. Now in our index.js, we need to set CORS here. So CORS stands for cross origin resource sharing. So what it does, it restricts some of the resources which are not to be shared with everyone, or rather most of the server resources which are not to be shared with everyone. So it's just to avoid some cross-site attacks as well, and it's also for making sure that the authorized users or domains are requesting or getting response to from your server. So when I say response to, which means the server is sending response to the authorized domains. Okay. Now by default, if I know correctly, most of the recent browsers, they put that this CORS, because this CORS is like an HTTP mechanism. So what we need to do is we just need to first import our CORS. The CORS is so this is an npm package. So we'll just say require, and this will come from CORS. Let's make this before our app over here. And what we are going to do now is we will set a middleware app.use, and we will say CORS. So we'll just call that instance. And now what this is going to do is this is actually the most basic way of setting CORS. So it will just make all the domains as whitelisted. Okay. And all the methods to be whitelisted. Of course, you can have a restriction over here by whitelisting certain domains. You can also whitelist certain methods. So you can have the complete control over here. Definitely have a read on this documentation. It's very amazing. As we are currently doing the token based authentication, so for now I will be keeping it like a completely open for login register, but after that our token based authentication will take care of it. So let's save this. Let's go back over here. Let's inspect again over here and let's see what we get. So if we hit login, you will see incorrect credentials. That's great, but our thing is not rendered here. So let's see what happened. So we go back to login and we have this. Of course, because we are not setting errors here, so we just need to do set errors. Okay. Now if we go back again, login, and there is our message, which is somewhere on the top. We can just do it, design properly and have it over there. That's not a problem. So that's done. Now if you see, we need to set the correct password. So let's set the correct password and let's see what we get. If we go back here, I just need to remove that error as well so that it goes off, but we are getting the correct user details. So that's great. So if we go to application now and see for the cookies are not set on our browser. Even if I refresh this, there are no cookies. Now how to manage this or how to handle this? Well, for that we just need to send a key from in our Axios, or set the key, not send, but set the key in our Axios instance. Here we just need to say with credentials, and we just need to set it to true. Now to avoid CORS error again, because this will set the cookie and then it will be more based on credentials based. So just to avoid those all other CORS error, so in our CORS we just need to set to key configurations, which will be credentials, that will be set to true, and the origin will be set to true as well. Okay. Now if we go back again over here and refresh this and go back to inspector tool again, so no cookies. Now if we just type here, let's say our example.com 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, login, go back here, we have those cookies. That's great. We are also getting it on a response, but we are setting it in the cookies as well. Now this refresh token is HTTP only cookie, while this access token is no HTTP only cookie. So we can get this token and set it in our request. So let's check that. So also let's check after 30 seconds once this expires. So if we go over here, wait for 30 seconds. Okay, so you'll see after 30 seconds it has expired as well, so the cookie is gone. Now this cookie will be used for making or getting the new refresh token. Okay, so we will handle that mechanism as well, but for now let's quickly see once we make request from here. So this is one request, and this is another request. Let's see if the cookies are set in our header correctly. So if we go to network tab, inside network tab there is a login. So you will see the server is sending the cookies in the set cookie header. That's great. So okay, so it's set over here. That's great. So if we just let's now make sure that once we get the token, we are routed to our dashboard. And once routed to dashboard, we just need to make sure that only the people having access token can use the dashboard or our messaging platform. Okay, so let's go to our messaging platform page. Okay, so I have this chat page which will be shown to the user after they log in. So we'll see that how to do that as well. And secondly, we just need to add this in our home file, which is this app.js. So here we just need to add that. So let's add it over here. So I'm going to say route path and then chats element will be register. It will be, and then we will end our route like this. Okay. Now if we go to chat in our okay, so layout is not defined, we didn't import it, so let's import layout. So if we just now refresh, go to chat, you'll see we are seeing this chat. We want to see this chat when we are logged in, but we don't want to see it when we are not logged in. So when there is no access token, this shouldn't be there. So how to protect this route? Well, it's pretty simple. So what we are going to do is we'll create a component here over here. We will call it protected. Okay, and we'll name it as something like this. It will be a simple functional component. Now here, if you're using Redux, you can do those state management thing by checking it if the user is logged in or not, Firebase with getAuth. But in our case, as we are having the token in the cookie, so if there is an access token, that means user is there. If there is no access token, that means user is not there. From universal cookie, then here we will say, let's create a hook here. So I'm going to say const use auth, or let's do it like, yeah, let's do use auth. And here this will be a function. So this will take const cookie equal to new cookies, and then with this we will say that if return cookie dot get access token. So if it's there, we return true. If it's not there, we return false. Okay. Now next thing we need to do is we just need to use this hook inside our protected component. So here I'm going to say const is authenticated or is auth. I will just say use auth. Okay. And after this, what we need to do is, so we just need to import two things from our React router. So I'm going to say import outlet and navigate. Okay. So we'll save this, go back over here. I'm using version 6 of the React router. So here what we are going to do is we will say if it's auth, then just send the outlet. I will tell you what the outlet is as well. If you're coming from view, you will see in view there is something known as component, special component, which allows you to dynamically switch the component. In the same way for React router, there is outlet. So whichever routes we put now inside this protected thing, or whichever elements we put inside this, or the components we put inside this protected component, those will be dynamically switched here as an outlet. Okay. And if it's not there, then we just navigate to our login page, which is our home page. Okay. Now what we need to do is bring this component in our here. So here I'm going to say import protected from components protected, and now here we can have nested routes. So here I'm going to say route element as, and then this thing, this chat route can go inside this big route, not big route, but the previous route component. Okay, so just need to close it here as well, and that's good. So now this thing is protected. Now let's see if it works. So if we go back here, now we try to go to chat, we are sent back to login. Let's do again, chat, we are sent back to login. So that's great. Now let's go to login and let's now navigate to the chats once we are logged in. So we just need to come over here, and once we are logged in, we just need to navigate. Okay, so how to do that? Well, we will use something known as use navigation. It will come from use navigation, or navigate, actually, not navigation, use navigate. So what we need to do here is we just need to say const navigate equal to use navigate, and then if we are successfully logged in over here, so all we need to do is just say navigate, and we just need to navigate to chats. Okay, now let's go back, let's do refresh, let's see what happens. Example.com. Here we just need to 3 4 5 6 7 8 login, and that's good. We are here in our chat page. After 30 seconds, once our cookie expires, we will be taken back to our login page. Now, if you see here, it still says login register. So we just need to switch this in our header as well. So if we go to our header component, which is here, so here we have these two links. We just need to switch them if there are logging. If not, we just switch them with the logout links. So what I prefer is here I take it as a separate component. So const authenticated links. This will be a functional component. Now what this is going to do is this will return these two. So here I can just say return. Actually, this should be non-authenticated links, so it makes more sense. And then it will return in a React fragment like this. And we just need to name it as react.fragment. Why we are doing this? Because this, we don't want it as a separate div. We just wanted these two things to be as an individual element. But as our rule is that we cannot send two elements, we need to have one parent. So we wrap them inside this React fragment, which won't render any UI, which will be just like a virtual container for them. Great. And here, what I like to do is, so here we will just say non-authenticated links, and then we will have our authenticated links. Just copy this part and just go over here and just make it authenticated. Make this as logout. We will write a logout function later, but for now let's keep it as a home page. And then over here we just need to need that hook as well to just check if they are logged in or not. So that's why if you are having something repeatedly, then Redux comes handy, but most of the time you don't need Redux, you can get with it. So you can just simply have this hook, which is in our app.js, in protected. We can have it as a separate script, and we just need to import it. So what I'm going to do is in the assets, I'm going to say auth.js, and then just copy this from here, const export, and that's it. And here we can just take this from here, put it over here, and then over here we can just say import use auth. That will come from assets auth, and we can do the same thing in our header over here. So we will say over here if use auth. So we just need to do it like this. If it's use auth, if that, then this component. If not, this should be authenticated. And if it's not there, then non-authenticated links. If the user is not logged in, then non-authenticated links in the header. Now if we go back again, example.com 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 login, we have the logout over there, that's great. And if we go back, takes out logout, that's great, and this should also go. So we just need to set it, like remove the cookies once we log out. So let's quickly do the logout. We also need to do this on our server side, because we need to send a request to the server saying that the user has logged out, and just set the logout route and remove the refresh token. So that we just need to destroy the refresh token in simple words once the user logs out. So what I'm going to do is in our header, so we have this logout over here. So we can either take it as a separate component where we just need to write the logout function, or we can just keep it over here. So for now, just keep it over here. We can say function logout, and then we just need those cookies as well. So import cookies from universal cookies, and here actually what we need to do here is, so if it's logging out, then we can wrap it in a button, only this thing. And what we need to do here is just need to put on click equal to logout, and then here we just need to do const cookie to new cookie, and then we just need to say cookie dot remove, and along with that here we will be sending request to our server. So here we are with our simple logout function where we are clearing the cookie, and we are saying that just sending a response of user logged out, and we are only removing the refresh token. Access token is done from the client side, so we'll just remove the refresh token. And if we go down, we just export this over here. So we say exports.logout so that we can use it in our user.js over here. So in the user.js, we just import it over here because that's where our logout, our user routes are. Just router.post logout and calling the logout function. And then from here, we go all the way back to our front end in our headers. So here we will just say the function logout. We remove the access token, then we'll just make our request to the server saying that user logout, this is the post URL, and whatever the response is, we'll just get the response. Okay, so let's test this out if this works. So let's log in. Let's say aditya@example.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 login. So there we are with the logout. And if I go to here, we have the refresh token, access token. That's great. Now if we log out, now let's check back again. Cookies are gone. Perfect. So login is done, logout is done, navigation is done with the protected authentication and everything. So that's all in this video. So in the next video, we will code our chat dashboard and we will send the refresh token so that we can get the access token, and we'll also handle the refresh token stuffs so that we can get the correct access token. So all that in the next video. Till the next time, goodbye.